my photograph. You cut my soul in half. What do you want from me? I'm temporary. Why can't I make you see? I have it.
When you're in the woods and you hear some whining, chances are it's Bigfoot Brian. Bigfoot Brian.
My name is Jim and I traveled back in time. I traveled 13 days into the past to warn myself about something bad. Ooh yeah, but goddamn it, I forgot what I was supposed to warn myself about. Oh, why did I travel through space and time? Gotta try to remember why I traveled through space and time.
Get out of my intro.
Who's that shuffling down the street? Exercising their hearts out to the beat with a healthy heaping handful of smoke. Don't stop, it's the groovy move-ons. We weren't fooling, they're grooving and moving. Don't stop, it's the groovy move-ons. They're gonna make you really feel great. They're obligated to ensure you feel great. So groovy move-on, cause we'll already win.
Nerds roll Boston baked beans, chicken tikka masala, cheddar cheese and toast crunch, Tinty Ward's beef stew, cheese grits,
Inner Falcons.
I could take a walk if I want to.
Inner Falcons.
But the thing is that I really don't, seriously don't want to.
Deep inside we eat until we feel our hearts divine. But I just wanna eat everything inside. Just everything inside. Inner Falcons.
She was working at the diner on a Sunday. I was looking for a little bit of getaway. She was wearing dirty boots and tight jeans. We were swimming in the middle of a fishing stream. It's a typical Friday night in that country life. I was driving agricultural machinery. She was drinking fluid made from a distillery. I was reminiscing in a hammock by a lake. She was unemployed and baking homemade wedding cakes. I never wanna let them fade away, these perfect human days. And it was cold beer and summer nights, slow driving through the mud and the moonlight, stealing kisses underneath the starry sky. Sleeping late till the midday light, doing things that just feel right, like the twinkle in the newborn baby's eye, and putting ketchup on my apple pie. I'm putting ketchup on my apple pie. I was recklessly consuming empty calories. She was aspirating near the grain dispensary. We were praying to the flag of our country. We are humans who have far too much idle time. I never wanna let them fade away, these perfect human days. Cold beer and summer nights, slow driving through the mud and the moonlight, stealing kisses underneath the starry sky. Sleeping late till the midday light, and doing things that just feel right, like the twinkle in the newborn baby's eye, and putting ketchup on my apple pie. I'm putting ketchup on my apple pie. Summer nights, slow driving through the mud and the moonlight, stealing kisses underneath the starry sky. Ooh, sleeping late till the midday light, doing things that just feel right, like the twinkle in a newborn baby's eye, and putting ketchup on my apple pie. I'm putting ketchup on my apple pie. Ketchup on my apple pie, my apple pie. Put ketchup on my apple pie.
Be touching you this Christmas. We really fooged things up beyond belief. No mistletoe, Santa Claus, or snow, just onions on the tree.
Good morning. Good morning, Imagivators. Welcome. Happy Monday. I'm sorry to cut off that fantastic Christmas song from the Tim After Tim Christmas special by Big Fat Brain. You're hearing all of the great Big Fat Brain and more musical hits at the opening of the show. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Mr. C Sharp. Good morning, Baradane, and anybody else who's just starting to stack up into the Imagivate chat stream. Really glad to have you here. We're really glad to be starting a new week together. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. If you celebrated a holiday over the last week into the weekend, I hope it was full of great times, making the best of where we are with the lockdowns all over the world and everything. I hope you did not, Mr. C Sharp. I'm very sorry to hear that. Well, maybe we can pick up your spirits today on Imagivate Live. That's what we're doing here. That's what this show is. It's Imagivate Live. What is Imagivate Live? You might be new to the stream. Why are you here? What are you doing? Why am I talking? Well, Imagivate Live is a live streaming show that we do every weekday. We get our days started, or some of us are happening to pop in midday, as you might see from some of our friends overseas. And we get together, we use our imagination to excavate terrible ideas. That's what Imagivation is. Why terrible ideas? Why would you do that? That seems like a terrible waste of time. No, it's a terrific waste of time with terrible ideas. And here's why. We come up with terrible ideas because that's what gets our brains moving, thinking, processing, synthesizing, starting to see connections that might not have been there before. And that's what gets us to good ideas, maybe even great ideas. And that's why we like to get together and do this. We Imagivate. And what do? Well, we just talk about some interesting topics, and we jump right into the chat stream, and we just throw those ideas out there. And the more terrible, the better. In fact, all I want on this stream are your terrible ideas. I don't want the good ones. I want you to save those for later on when you, creative professional or science laboratory worker or stay-at-home supervisor of life, you need to use your brain time to come up with solutions for real-world problems. You come in here, and we get a little crazy, and we come up with some terrible stuff. That's what we do. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And if you're new to the stream, you just want to sit back and lurk, no problem. Hang out and watch how this goes down. But if you're feeling frisky and you want to get out there, throw some ideas out, please go right ahead. You'll see that it's a fun environment, and there's little to no risk. It's the internet. What could go wrong? Well, folks, we had a great end of the week last week, and we had yesterday's most terrible idea. We were talking about all kinds of things, actually. We went down this list of some terrible ideas or bad decisions. That's a game that we like to play. And we got to this one about the Portal hologram machine, this giant freestanding, what basically amounts to an enormous industrial kitchen refrigerator-sized piece of equipment that projects holograms right into your home, wherever you can fit that device in a corner. Just tuck it away. And we had lots of really great, terrible ideas about what we might do with a Portal hologram teleportation device. But Scott Holzman had the best with a visit to the dermatologist, and we just imagined what it would look like to be showing skin blemishes, maybe weird rashes in a hologram to a doctor. And that was it. That was the winner. And, the thing about Scott Holzman is that he was extremely prolific that day, too. If you go back and look through that stream and read through the stuff, man, that cat had a lot of terrible ideas. And that's all we want here. Just start churning them out. Don't think about it too much. Just get the stuff right off the top of your head. That's how we do it, and that's how we get the best results. Well, I wanted to take a look at something with you before we jump into Speed Swirl, so we just start to get our brains moving. You know that I like to think about the things that are sort of around in that innovation space. I like that kind of stuff. We had this found this great article today on flying cars. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we do, I want to show you this story that I found. If I might be able to get in here. Anyway, well, you know what? Forget about the story. Let's go back right over to the Speed Swirl because I want to just get us right into it. Microsoft, get a load of this. Microsoft has patented technology that scores meetings. What? Yes, it's true. It is in the U.S. Patent and Trademarks Office right now as we speak. Microsoft is seeking to use technology to eliminate wasteful meetings. You get that? Using technology, I'll say it again, using technology to help solve the problem of wasteful meetings. And you're sitting there thinking, like, just stop having the meetings. Maybe you could stop with the meetings. Stop with the people and the talking and just do things. Just make stuff. Yeah, that's where I netted out at first. But then I thought, yeah, you know what? People have to have meetings. So what they're doing with this technology is they're incorporating all kinds of variables, as you can see here. The temperature of the room, remote participation. And by the way, doing a lot of AI watching of people's cameras to see how their body language is responding to whatever's happening in the meeting. The sound quality, the what is the atmosphere in the room? There obviously this patent was being put together before COVID, so this is like with an in-person meeting. But all of these dynamics, body language of the presenter and stuff, to determine whether or not the meeting was a success, and it's going to score. It's going to score the meeting, and this seems like, as I've talked a lot about our AI overlords and the terror of what's the coming onslaught of the machines, this feels like this is terrifying to me, because if now, because they're talking about, how many times was a person who was supposed to be watching the meeting distracted by lifting up their phone and playing with the phone? Like, it is calculating all of this in the algorithm. It's watching us. It's waiting. It's scoring. And what is going to be the outcome? So what I'd like to do, good morning support sidecar, is get in here and figure out what are some terrible ideas for this AI-driven meeting scoring machine. Terrible ideas, and it can be anything. Today, I just want because I know it's a Monday run up to our Imagivation start, so we want to talk about names for this scoring system, maybe use cases, anything goes. Terrible ideas around the Microsoft patented meeting scoring system. That is happening. It's real. It's trademarked, and it's only a matter of time. All right, so support sidecar says, I've always said that meetings would have been way more productive at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I think you're probably right. 78 feels, and I'm assuming that's Fahrenheit, because otherwise, if that was centigrade, that would be bad news for everybody in that room. But even 78 feels a little stuffy. So let's get it down to 68 degrees or lower. What happens if you get it really frigid in there? Do people get a little bit more productive? Do they step it up? Do they get the energy rolling? I don't know. Lower temps? Maybe what you do is you have a system that punishes you with temperature, right? So depending on the nature, the pace of the meeting, maybe it's hooked up to a Nest system, and temperature changes dynamically. It's interesting and terrible. I think anytime you allow the machines to operate your environmental factors, bad news. Terrible idea. Let's see. That's 26 Celsius. 78 degrees is 26 Celsius. That's pretty warm, eh, Peter? Variable temperature based on what the presenter's talking about. Yep. Let's see. 79 seconds. Good morning and welcome back. Been a little while, buddy. Meatometer. The meatometer. I love it. Meatometer. How'd you do today on the meatometer? Oh, I'm sorry, the meatometer. Wait, are you guys talking about baking, cooking? No, we're talking about the meeting that you had, Jerry, and it was an F+. Okay, try harder next time. Jaco, have the grade scale be a simple pass-fail. We either put this meeting on the fridge for everyone to see, or it's off the fridge and you are a failure. Yeah. And then maybe that becomes like the sort of going terminology. Hey, how was that meeting? Oh, dude, totally on the fridge. Totally on the fridge. Brianna Matsky, good morning. As a music teacher, the phrase scores a meeting takes on a different meaning. You would love an AI-generated soundtrack for the meeting. Okay, all right. So yeah, so let's do AI, that terrifying music that we were listening to, AI-generated music. And again, you could have that completely dynamic based on the pace of the meeting, how well it's going, that the score starts to change based on the energy in the room. I like it. Very nice. Terrible idea. Dave on base 32. Good morning. Donuts and coffee in the center of the table can only be unlocked after sufficient participation. All right, so craft services comes in here with a locked box full of donuts and goodies, but it's only unlocked programmatically with sufficient participation from people in the room. I like that a lot. That's actually a good idea, and I'm sorry, Dave on Bass, you do this all the time. We're looking for terrible ideas, please. Terrible ideas. All right, let's see. Peter says, the louder people talk in the microphone, the quieter they are heard. Interesting. So you're trying to dynamically balance out everyone's volume. The harder, the louder you go, the more suppressed your sound. Not a bad idea. All right, any other thoughts here on scoring the meeting? Any other names? I like Meter. Thank you, 79 seconds. Did anybody else have anything queued up? It feels like this thing, Scorm. Scorm AI. Oh, I love it. Scorm AI. Nice one, G Wismo. Good morning, and welcome back in. Baradane, a persistent hologram score is put over your head during the meeting, showing how well you're doing, engaged you are. Okay, I love that. So AR me like a number. I'm getting like a 70.3 over my head. I like that. I like that. Put it, just badge yourself with how well you're performing. Meetings are rated on number of Dave on Base 32. Meetings are rated on the number of jerk off gestures that happen. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, get the quarterly numbers up. That's a good one, Dave on Base 32. Oh, that's terrible. Thank you, by the way, redeeming yourself. Jerk off gesture in algorithm. I love it. I love it. That's exactly the kind of stuff we're looking for. Redemption. Little B Fat Brain. Alf on the shelf. Alf on the shelf. All right. AI-elf. AI-elf? Is that what that is? AI-elf on the shelf. Okay. I think we're going to have to be ready for a whole bunch of terrible Christmas-related ideas. Wall clock that rewinds the time 5 minutes anytime it sees no one is looking at it, making it appear that this meeting has been flying by. That's great. Actually, you do. Maybe you could gamify the sort of the meeting clock. I like that a lot. Definitely like the idea of just doing it when nobody's looking. But if you could incentivize people like, hey, we can get this thing over faster if you start doing your job better. You, Jaco, the AI just collects a bunch of blackmail and makes fun of people on what they say and puts it in a burn book. If the meeting doesn't go well enough, the AI shares the contents with everyone you knew in high school. Nice. It's the Tubin factor. We just get it all locked and loaded and wait for that moment when we can pull it off. Yep. Little correlation there. Support sidecar. Clippy appears when they notice a presenter struggling and are losing the room. Yep. Nothing makes a meeting worse than Clippy. The terrible AI assistant. Maybe we could have like a horrifying version. Well, he's just as bad as you can imagine, right? With those giant like sort of. That's what I needed to do. The big clippy eyes. Yikes. 79 seconds with one last name. Microsoft Office Outlook Meeting Management Optimizer. Done. Nailed it. Thank you very much. All right. Well, that was a good warm up. Feeling good? Feeling Imagivate? All right, let's do it. I talked about this a moment ago, just teasing it accidentally, but flying cars, they're happening. They're in our world. There's a lot of different prototypes that just recently are starting to be successfully deployed and tested. This Volocopter air taxi in Singapore. Of course, everybody dreaming for that sort of Mandalorian flight pack. This is a manned flying car that did a successful test flight in Japan just this year, not too long ago. So I thought, why don't we talk about flying cars? It'd be a lot of fun. And I love, you know how much I love just talking about the nouveau, the novel, the innovation space. Feels like a space to make fun of as much as we possibly can. All right, so let's come up with terrible ideas for a flying car world. And anything goes again. I like that we're having a little looser briefs right now. Looser briefs. Because terrible ideas can come from anywhere, and I don't know that we're actually trying to solve anything here. I think this is our maybe imminent future where we have flying cars. I hope we do. For a flying car future, what are some terrible ideas once we have flying cars at our disposal? Peter says, hope those flying cars come with a mandatory autopilot. I bet they do. AI pilots in right out of the gate. Nice one, Peter. AI pilots in the command seat. Then you can play Candy Crush Saga while you're flying to work. And that's the future that we promised ourselves so many years ago. Hey, Lim Banana Zero, welcome back. So nice to have you back. It's been a while. Yes, indeed. Jockey underwear, now with looser briefs. All right, looser briefs. Looser briefs. Let them breathe. Let those bad ideas breathe. Yep, that's what we're doing. I mean, if you're going to talk about flying cars, anything goes, right? Terrible ideas about flying cars. Dayton driving angels. Yep. So maybe every summer, instead of the Blue Angels, you get just regular consumer drivers to come with their flying cars and try to do some coordinated stunt flying. I think that's a great idea. Air Rage. Yep, it's coming. Coming to an air highway near you, Air Rage, no doubt. Lower the driver license age to 12. Yep. Driver's license is at 12. It's what the kids have they've earned it. They've earned it, folks. Build them with PS5 controllers as the interface. Very, very good. PS5 DualShocks for controller. I like that a lot. That is a terrible idea. Although I would imagine that for a generation raised on controlling things with that, we'd probably see better driving. Air parades? Why not? Yep. Memorial Day comes, you want to make sure you get a good seat near a building roof, I guess, and put those lawn chairs out and watch the air parade go by. Lim Banana Zero, you need to be safe in airspace, 25 kilometer speed limit. Yeah, so I guess we really need to have some serious like hover mechanisms in these things, because if your vehicle relies on inertia or momentum, I should say, you could be in big trouble with our 25 kilometer per hour speed limit. That could be dangerous. Airborne orange construction barrels. How are you going to do it? How are you going to demonstrate that certain parts of the sky are under construction unless you have floating orange construction barrels? It's got to come with the territory, folks. Look, I don't make the rules. I just fix the highway, okay? And these things, maybe they're suspended by drones. Yeah. Drone-lifted orange construction barrels. It makes sense. Bob Ross paint job for rural stealth visits. Okay, yeah, so you have like Bob Ross mountain scenes. Yeah, in fact, maybe this is sort of an LED panel, and it just cycles through a series of Bob Ross. Maybe it's even context-aware backgrounds for where you may be flying. Ooh, maybe we're actually end up talking about like some sort of Bob Ross fueled cloaking system. That would be cool. Cloaking device. Stunt man, stunt woman will really be able to jump a lot of buses with one of these. They better be able to. Jeez. You got to jump and keep on jumping. Stunt folk are going to love this thing. Think about how, I mean, when they eventually reboot Smokey and the Bandit, you could have some sweet-ass jumps with these cars. Airborne billboard media, it's coming. That's right. All you have to do is put Cricket Wireless wrap on your flying car, and it's free. The car is free. That's coming, folks. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one. Sky-based drive-in movies. Okay, so kind of following. Do you guys think a world full of drone suspended things is also part of this. Like that you just eventually it's all drones and you've just got a big movie screen and then flying cars are kind of just hovering watching. That feels like a good use of that energy expenditure. Instead of airbags, ejection seats. Yep, that's a good one. Warp nacelles, just for looks. Change bike lanes to flying car lanes, only allowed to drive in a single tiny lane on city streets, and it's the same lane where cars are allowed to park. Interesting. So you're just flying over already stationary vehicles. Brianna Matsky is actually kind of using the noodle to solve a problem today. Sorry, that was a great idea. That's not what we're looking for. Nice try. Barry Dane, we can finally film Airborne 2. Finally. Jeez. We've been waiting on that for 20 years. Give me a break. Airborne 2 producers, where have you been? Curb feelers Schenkelmeyer, welcome. We do need some curb feelers. Probably on all dimensions, right? You need curb feelers because you are flying. You are now, welcome to Z Space Transit. That is what we're talking about. And you got to start thinking in 3 dimensions. Okay? This ain't your 2-dimension grandma driving experience anymore, folks. We're talking 3D. Straight up, real world 3D. And you better get on board. Okay? Because if you get in that flying car and you're thinking about X and Y, you're missing 33% of the experience. And I just don't want you to do that. Airborne 2, Airborne Boogaloo. Yep, that I think if you go to IMDb, that was the working title back when they were teasing this. But are we ready for Airborne 2? Or do we need to wait for the times to shift back to something a little bit more stable and sturdy before we get into some really good skateboarding stuff again? Dave on Base 32, cut down all trees to facilitate flying car adoption. Yeah. Look, we talked to the Sierra Club, and everybody agrees the trees have to come down. Okay? So good news is we're getting back to a lot of paper. So everybody get ready to start using paper again. But we had to make way. Had to make way for the flying cars. And that's progress. And folks, don't get in the way of progress. Actually, I'm going to have to ask you to step aside from the tree. All right, we're taking this one. Stop hugging the tree. It's not... Do you want to go with it? Let's go. Here's a few reams of paper for your troubles. Progress. Support sidecar. All helmets are mandatory replicas from Disney's The Rocketeer. Yes. I believe The Rocketeer, they had that really great sort of homage to the original 30s kind of Rocketeer, right? Where he had like sort of that kind of weirdo, reflective, bulbous kind of thing. Yeah. That's a good one. I think actually mandatory costumes for all flyers. Because, look, if you're going to fly in a car, you're going to have to pay some sort of price, right? It ain't coming free. And I want to see people wearing costumes. Cosplay in the sky. That's my dream. That's my dream of the future. Cosplay in the sky. Why wouldn't you? It's going to take an entire generation of people to not think this is the coolest thing in the whole world, and they're always going to want to get dressed up for this. I will. I'll be dressed every single time I get in my flying car. Crosswalks for jetpack-equipped pedestrians. Yes, so we do have to account for pedestrians who may be utilizing the flying backpacks. And what do we call it? Not crosswalks, cross glides? Cross glides? I don't know. That's interesting. I wonder if we're going to get jetpacks before flying cars. Who has the right of way? Who's going to... What's the chicken and what's the egg with that? Because I think it's probably dibs, right, in the sky. Hey, we were here first. Flying car guy. Go get a rocket, dummy. A sidecar, like an older motorcycle. I like that. Pop a little sidecar on here. That's not up to scale, but you can imagine on the other side there, little guy, little sidecar buddy. Who would you take in your sidecar? Would you take support sidecar? Maybe support sidecar, that's what he does. He just flies in other people's flying cars. It's kind of like that. Lim Banana, because of bad ways of stopping, you get big nets to fly into. Nice. Yeah, so there's definitely going to have to be, like, you're not just parking anymore, you're landing now, right? So how do you help people who, like, it's not probably your fatality rate with a bad landing versus bad parking a little higher there. So I suspect you're going to have to kind of figure that out. It's a good question. Start seeing flying motorcycles. Yeah. Would you 79 seconds, you are an avid motorcyclist. Would you fly a motorcycle? Or do you not get the same feel of, like, the road underneath your tires and the wind in your hair? We'd have wind in your hair. But you need to have, like, the smell of, like, the cows that you're driving past, right? Because that's what you're doing with your motorcycles. You're getting back to the real world. But up there, there's nothing to experience. Maybe flying motorcycles isn't going to take off. Flying sky sweepers to scoop the copious amounts of litter thrown from flying cars. Dave on Base 32, are you actually, like, on a commission to figure this out? These are ideas that you are really thinking around this. This is some serious lateral thinking that's going on. Litter. What do we do about the litter? Jeez. It's raining from the skies, folks. Chick-fil-A wrappers raining from the skies. Can you get pulled over? There's no edge of the road. Citizen, pull down your vehicle. Pull down your vehicle. Pull down. I said pull down. Pull down. I could see that happening. What would you be getting pulled over for or pulled down for? McDonald's drones for mid-flight refuel. Fast food. Hey, that actually, man, that's a whole. Dave on Base 32. Damn, you're coming in hard and strong. That is maybe a whole new Imagivate brief. Is how does any sort of, like, travel industry business, car travel industry business, live in a flying car world? That's awesome. We'll get some McDonald's in the drone, in the sky. Yes. Wendy's. Nice job. Baradane sweeping in with the pun right when we needed it. Folks, geez, that took us right up to the line. Good morning, Matthias. You can drop that now, sir. Immediately. You missed it. Thanks for showing up, though. Glad to have you here. Wow. Nice start to the Monday morning. You know what? I love when we get these ideas that kind of just have no real stopping point. We just kind of imagivate our way into a full sprint, and you guys really come with it. Thank you for some great contributions today. I hope you're rested and relaxed and ready to dive into a big day full of important stuff. I know I am, and I always love to get sort of refueled with you guys, just like our McDonald's refueling pods that will be flying overhead soon. All right, Berg Air King, nice job, support sidecar. Nice one. That's a great way to end it. Folks, hope you have a great day. We will catch you tomorrow for Whose Tagline Is It Any Wednesday on Tuesday. Until then, have a great day.
I've got my straight line and my ultra fine and my free time and your deadline. How did you ever think that you could justify when you hang me out to dry? I never thought I'd have to watch a grown man cry when you hang me out to dry. I've got your test check down to the last spec. It's not not your best yet. Cause it's a train wreck.
Dave and Rick Downs just
When you hang me out to dry, I'll never understand a single reason why. When you hang me out to dry.
I just blew your mind.